I'm very excited too, because she always does an amazing job and I always learn something. And it is by a multi-award-winning home chef who has been entering and winning cooking contests since 1990. Her recipes are published in nationally known magazines, cookbooks, and online publications. She has competed in the World Food Championships for 6 or maybe 7 years now. She's a food blogger and TEDx speaker and runs Good Grief Cook. So please help me welcome Lisa Keys.
Hi, I am Lisa Keys. I'm from Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. I am a home cook and writer of the food blog Good Grief Cook, where you can find all of my award-winning recipes and just some of my favorite losers too. Today we are going to make a cream of mushroom soup with a brandy infused creme fraiche using the immersion circulator, because why not? It's a great tool to have in your arsenal of recipe development. First, I want to just show you the ingredients because they are amazing. These are mushrooms that were picked today. I live in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. We are the mushroom capital of the world, and we can get the most gorgeous, fresh mushrooms. So I just want to show them off. Oysters, shiitakes, creminis. There's also white button, and these gorgeous portobellos. Look, they're like as big as my head. They are just stunning. And it's still cold here in Pennsylvania, and mushrooms are having kind of a health moment. So why not create a warm and comforting, healthy soup using these beautiful mushrooms, which are filled with micronutrients, vitamin D, and studies show all kinds of benefits to eating mushrooms. Good for your heart, your gut, and all around well-being. Now, when it comes to mushrooms, people will tell you don't wash them. I totally disagree. These things, you don't know where they've been. There's dirt on them. So what I like to do is I measure out what I need and I put them in a salad spinner, and I will run this under some cold water, and then I will spin them dry, and the amount of water they soak up is really negligible. So don't just wipe them, wash them. It's just better. Let me show you the rest of the ingredients that are going to go into this delicious soup. We have onion, we have shallot, we have thyme that I picked just this morning in my backyard, okay? A little bit of butter, salt, pepper, of course, some sherry, and some heavy cream. Buy the cream that is not ultra pasteurized if possible. It just tastes better. And the cream is also going to go into the infused creme fraiche, which also contains some brandy and some buttermilk. That's it. That's all our ingredients. So let's get cooking. So the first thing we're going to put together, because it takes a long time to cook, is the brandy infused creme fraiche. And what you need is just 1 cup of yummy, not ultra pasteurized, just pasteurized heavy cream. And then you need a tablespoon or 2 of brandy, depending on how strong you like your infusions. And then 3 tablespoons of buttermilk. And then this will go in the immersion circulator at 95 degrees for 12 hours. And then you have to cool it down. And it should be nice and thick and ready to garnish your mushroom soup with. And the reason why this is so much better than just like a dab of sour cream or something other creamy thing on top of your soup is that this will not curdle. You can put this on top of a hot soup and you can swirl it in, and it doesn't curdle. It's just fantastic. So I'm just going to mix this up. And then we put the top on just finger tight. You know, I just have one of these 2-piece. And, you know, it's always kind of scary, these jar things, but just finger tight, not overly tight. And drop it in your immersion circulator. And you're good to go. Till tomorrow, 12 hours. Okay, first thing I want to show you is just a couple quick cooking tips. The bag, right? I always fold it down so that it seals. You don't get schmutz on the edge of the bag, which prevents it from sealing. And then I always worry about things, liquidy things, getting pulled up from the vacuum sealer because I'm not doing a water displacement method today. So what I did was I took the half a cup of cream that goes in to this recipe and I froze it. And so the cream is frozen, and I'm just going to unwrap it, and I'm going to put that in the bottom of the bag along with 2 tablespoons of sherry. It's not that much, so I'm not too worried about it coming to the top of the bag. And I'm going to put all the other ingredients down on top of it. That little signal was the immersion circulator telling me that the temperature is ready for the soup. I'm doing 185 degrees for about an hour, hour and a half. So all I need to do is just get everything else into the bag, seal it, and we are good to go. So let's put in our mushrooms. 2 teaspoons of salt, teaspoon of pepper, and about a tablespoon of fresh thyme. And it's a pound of mushrooms, assorted mushrooms, gives it better flavor. And you can use any herbs you want. I also had some parsley in the fridge, so I'm just going to throw that in too. And then 1 shallot, half of a small onion, 3 tablespoons of unsalted butter, and that's everything. Once I get it all in there and seal the bag, it will cook for an hour, hour and a half, and then we will puree it and serve it topped with our brandy infused creme fraiche. Okay, we'll be back. Here's another tip. You can weight it down with the steamer. It works great. So here we are, the hour is up, and I am ready to puree the soup. All I'm going to do is pour it into my Vitamix and blend it until it's smooth, and then we can reheat it, top it with the creme fraiche, and you know, have a good soup day. Some might say, well, why bother doing the sous vide rather than on the stove? And I would say, well, for the past hour, I've just been reading a book rather than standing over a hot stove, stirring and stirring and stirring. I don't know, it also just captures all the aroma and the flavor of the mushrooms and the other ingredients. So I think it's a great idea to make soup in the immersion circulator. So I'll buzz it up and we'll give it a taste. Oh my goodness, I sure wish you could smell this. It's earthy and sweet. You can smell the sherry. It smells so, it's intoxicating without making you drunk. All right, here goes. Let's buzz it up. goodness. Oh, that smells so good. Just want to give it a taste. You can see it's thick and rich and creamy. Holy moly, that is so good. I don't think it needs another thing unless you prefer to thin it out with a little broth. That's heavenly. Good morning. Let me show you this brandy infused creme fraiche. So it was in the immersion circulator for 12 hours at 95 degrees. And then I took it out and let it come to room temperature, and you can see just how thick and rich it is. And it tastes amazing. I added 1 tablespoon of brandy. I honestly think that's enough, but if you like stronger brandied flavor, go ahead and add 2 tablespoons. I also only added a half a teaspoon of pepper to the soup. I think I said a teaspoon earlier, but it's only half a teaspoon and it's plenty. I would not change that. Anyway, let's finish off this soup. I have a bowl here, and I'm just going to adjust the camera so you can see what I'm doing. I dry seared some mushrooms, and I'm just going to add those as a garnish, but you can certainly, if you like more texture in your soup, you know, put those mushrooms throughout the soup. It'll add, you know, just an extra boost of mushroom goodness, I think. So let's garnish and we'll taste it. So here is the creme fraiche, and I want to show you just how thick and rich and creamy it is. There was a little bit of separation at the bottom, which I thought was negligible, so I just stirred it in. But if you do get a lot of separation and you have whey on the bottom of your jar, then it's probably overcultured, and you should either cook it at a lower temperature or less time. I think what I did was I cooled it down too slowly, so it kept continuing to culture. So that's why I got a little bit of that whey separation. So let's just top our soup. It's nice and hot, and it looks beautiful there as a dollop, but I always like a good swirl. So I'm just going to swirl it in a little bit. I think that looks pretty. I'm going to top it with a few of those dried sear mushrooms. I like the extra texture of the mushroom in there, and certainly you could add more. A little sprinkle of the thyme. And that's it. There you have it. Smells really good. Let's give it a taste. It really is heavenly. Creamy, earthy, a little bit of sweetness. You can definitely taste the sherry and that brandy and the creme fraiche. I hope you all will try making mushroom soup, sous vide style. Thanks for being here. Oh my God, that is so good. I want to thank Jason and Mike for inviting me to participate in this ISVA 2022 Summit. It's been my pleasure to show you how to make this delicious soup. And thanks for watching, and be well, and check out my blog, goodgriefcook.com, for more great recipes.
What did you all think of that presentation? Give Lisa some love in the comments. I always love just the different takes that she has on sous vide. She's been presenting with us for, I want to say 3 years now, 4 years. And every time it's a unique take on using sous vide in a different way that's provides different benefits. Like, she's the first one that tries sous vide on a lot of different dishes, and it's like, that's not what sous vide should be used for. But when she finds good uses for it, like this soup or the entire chocolate cake that she made a few years back, it's for a reason, and that's what sous vide is. I think Darren mentioned this in the comments as well, that sous vide is just one tool in the kitchen, and it can do some really cool things, but it shouldn't be used for everything. And it's great seeing some of the unusual takes that it can be used for that a lot of us don't think about. I've never done the creme fraiche or the soup, and things like that is just amazing. We had a question about whether or not it's okay to freeze it. I would think that the soup would be completely fine to freeze. Not having made her version of it, a lot of soup does freeze really well and should be fine. Someone else in the comments might have done a very similar soup and have more details on it, but I think that would work just fine. Be sure to check out Lisa's website at goodgriefcook.com. It has a lot of great information, and she has a great recipes and a great backstory too that's really inspiring. If you want to learn a little bit more about her, she's really down to earth and is one of my favorite presenters that we have.